All right, welcome back to the big show. I'm Maya Palacio. She's Mia Shambray. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. Don't forget to subscribe on our website and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us as we go beyond the mic to continue to improve our community. All right, so we got a guest coming in, and we'd like to welcome to the show Mr. Adrian Lodge. A lot of claps because I don't have the audio.
Good.
Good morning, sir.
Everything's good?
Everything's good. How are you?
I'm great.
Wondering if you had a response to our question this morning as well. Like, what type of greeting do you like to say? What's most familiar for you?
Sure. So I'll say, what's good, fam?
That's a popular one. I don't think anyone said that one, actually.
All right, chief. Just a little generic stuff.
Okay. I can't believe we missed those ones. Chief and fam, like, that's from meeting to the T. All right. So good morning, sir. We're gonna start this conversation just by asking first off, like, tell us a bit about your background, like who you are, and also a little bit about the Bermuda Island Games that you do.
Sure. So Adrian Lodge, Bermudian, grew up here. So I think I was a year ahead of Teo at one point, or behind Teo. Can't remember now. That was so long ago. But I did associates at Bermuda College, bachelor's at Ryerson, master's at University of Liverpool. So that's in IT management. But since then, returned to Bermuda. I've created my own company, which is Supertone Limited, and that's the parent company of Bermuda Island Games. So Supertone, we focus on website development, and as technology changes, you have to change with the times. So we start with website. From there, we went to mobile app development, followed by video game development. So that's when we created Bermuda Island Games. And then we came back to, more kind of recent technology. So we built a product called Virtual AP, which is fintech. That's when kind of COVID hit. We had to switch gears and try and get people to start digitizing their accounts payable process. And more recently, we started getting more into cybersecurity and data privacy with PIPA or PIPA, however you want to say it. That's going into effect January 1st. So again, we do IT consulting, just trying to help out different clients to, make sure that they're ahead of the game. They don't have any issues when it comes to IT or just anything IT related, basically. So we're trying to hit, as many different targets as possible.
Wow, that's so exciting. And hey, Adrian, good morning. And congratulations on your business. I had so much fun reading about what you've been up to, what you've been doing. You haven't been busy at all. And not at all. And actually, quite a number of my son's a little bit too young now, but a bunch of my friends, their kids have come to your camps, etc. And I know you work with loads of young people on gaming and coding. Tell me a little bit more about Island Games and kind of the initiatives you have and really how you feel that it's shaping Bermuda's youth.
Sure. No, that's a great question. So we're trying to cultivate a sense of community within Bermuda, and we've actually got a spoiler. So in 2025, we're working with the Bermuda Olympic Committee and the Global Esports Federation. We're going to be putting together Bermuda's first esports team to compete internationally. So that's what's coming up, next year. That's what we're hoping to get. But as of right now, like you said, starting from the beginning, we started with the video game design challenge. Well, before that, we started with Hidden Gems of Bermuda. That was our first video game that we put together. And that was in partnership with the actual tour company, Hidden Gems. So shout out to Ashley Cassidy. So since then, we've built a couple other games. So Legends of George Summers, we did Hidden Gems of Bermuda 2, which is out now, and that's a Bermudian-themed Candy Crush type of game. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you download that.
Wow, that is so cool. I couldn't believe it as soon as you said, when I was reading about you, and it said Hidden Gems, and it was like Pokemon Go. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to get this on the double. It sounds so interesting when I was reading about it last night. I'm definitely going to download it and play it with my son. It sounds so fun and interesting. Yeah, it sounds so cool. And I think it's so amazing that you've done this all because of your passion for tech. Obviously, you're an entrepreneur. You're doing so many different things. And that's, first of all, esports. That's so exciting. I think you and Maya need to have a talk about this afterwards.
Actually, I was actually wondering before you ask your next question, Mia, for the audience who doesn't know, what exactly is esports?
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So that stands for electronic sports. So when you think of, Olympics and sporting in general, you think athletics, but there's also other types of sports. So chess, for example, that's not really athletic. That's more mental kind of capacity, right? And we are on the chess committee as well for Bermuda. Shout out to Don, who was just recently appointed as captain. But yeah, also, you mentioned the esports summer camp that we've been putting on for the past 3 years at Work Academy. So that's begun to grow as well, just because that's what kids prefer to do. So, a mate of mine actually suggested this 3 years ago, said, kids aren't really, that entertained when they go to a summer camp. They're on their phone, they're not paying attention. So why don't they just put out an actual esports or a gaming camp over the summer? So we tried it out and said, this is what kids actually want to do over the summer. And it's good because it's not just the same children every week. So it kind of gets them to socialize with people who they don't typically see, at their school. It's available for everyone.
I love that so much. That's so interesting. And it is. It's a fine line between getting kids outside and then also getting kids inside and learning different skills via video games. So like a really good friend of mine, her dad is actually a surgeon, and he was one of the very first ones to do it via robot. And he learned all the ways, like the dexterity with your fingers, by actually playing video games with his sons. Now they're my age, so like this is a long time ago. So this is like back in the 80s. But it's just crazy. So sometimes people, I think that video games can be quite frivolous, but there's actually so much mental capacity that you learn. There's so much dexterity. Then there's obviously the community with your friends. And then there's the entrepreneurship aspect of it. So you've created a whole business out of your love for tech. And we hear that it's Global Entrepreneurial Week, and you have an event coming up. So tell me about it.
Sure. So that's going to be focused more on cybersecurity, and that's the Supertone Limited side of things. So we want to make sure that both large and small companies understand the risks that are, like Teo mentioned earlier, right? A huge grocery store chain was hacked recently. That was, I think it was 2 days ago now, 3 days ago. So this is not going anywhere anytime soon, but companies need to be prepared for this. And this will offer them an insight into some of the latest hacking techniques that hackers are using, just to give people a general sense. And if that's something that you want to pursue going forward as a professional career, then perfect. That's what we want to see in Bermuda. We want to encourage people to get more into technology rather than just try to outsource everything or rely on expats or whoever.
I love that. So really taking ownership of it and learning as much as you can. Now, Adrian, I mean, for me, all of this stuff is like a different language, but I guess it's also like music. Music is another language, and coding is another language. And what I think is so important, me having a young person in my life, I really do want him to have a technology, like a basis for technology and coding and computers. Sure. Because it's things like, to me, I'm like when someone says the word coding to me, I just go like blank. I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, I understand, but like, how many young people? So you talked about these camps with Work Academy, and you're doing, all of your apps, etc. But how many kids do you think are really interested in coding? Are you finding a big influx from schools or parents, or like how many kids go to the camps? Are you going to be rolling out into more schools? Like, tell us all about it.
Sure. So coding, when I was growing up, I'll give you an example. We didn't get to coding until it was probably halfway through Work Academy. So I don't know whatever grade that is now, because we didn't have middle school when I was growing up. But that's what we used to call senior 3. So now they're starting as early as year 7, which is the first year of middle school. So again, as technology changes, the schools have adapted and started teaching coding at a younger age. So we need to adapt from our end as well and say, okay, kids are interested and they're learning about it at that age. Why don't we help them at a younger age? So before, we were looking at people 18 and over who were interested in doing either graphic design or video game programming. Those are the courses that we put out last year. And we got some feedback, so we wanted to start a bit earlier in their lives, basically, while they're still interested in that sort of thing. So we're going to put that down to 14 going forward.
Amazing. And Adrian, tell us, like, I just spoke about my friend's dad, who's a surgeon, right, doing robotics and all those things. And actually, I know a couple of kids have been traveling. They've gone to like the robotics Olympics, like a Bermudian team. And there's actually so many possibilities in the tech industry. What kind of career paths do you see for like the future of like Bermudian youth in the gaming and coding? Like, what do you see coming out of all of this? I mean, you yourself have made your own company, which is awesome. But what do you see for the future of Bermuda for our youth?
Sure. So definitely, with the rise in AI, I mean, again, some things are just hype and some things are here to stay. So I see AI staying here, which means that in terms of a career, a prompt engineer would be valuable, right? It's knowing what to type to AI to get what it is that you're trying to get out. And again, AI is just a tool. It's not designed to replace jobs. It will make things more efficient, but it needs to be done in a professional and not a malicious way. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. And what's like one of the coolest jobs that you would like think would be, that's something to do with tech that nobody knows? That's like, oh yeah, this is actually, like, sometimes people are like, for example, like a professional, like just some like type of wild thing, like they're a professional whale measurer, and I'm like, how did that person get that job? Like, do you know what I mean? What's like a cool job for tech that like would be beyond your wildest dreams that somebody might not know has to do with tech?
That's a great question. I couldn't answer that. I mean, yeah, it's up to your imagination, right? You can build whatever you want. That's the fun thing about IT. If I had to do the same thing every day, I would lose my mind. So I prefer to learn more as technology changes. That's just me personally.
I love that so much. And I'm speaking of, this is your future of tech. He's just come into the room. Say hi.
Hey, got her. Well, Mr. Lodge, like,
yes,
knowing about all these things going on, and we know you got an event coming up, and I'm sure a lot of the audience wants to know, okay, well, how can they look forward to this event and how can they get to it? So can you tell us a little bit more about how they can reach you, contact you to know more about the event that you're going to be putting on?
Sure. So if you check out supertoneinnovation.com or just supertone.com, you can register and it will tell you more information about Cybersecurity 101. We're also doing some other courses as well. So one of them is, again, getting prepared for PIPA. Another one is cybersecurity risk assessment. So that's just trying to get a better understanding, if you're already in that field, how to assess your risk and present that to the CEOs, for example, to make sure that you're able to get the correct type of training and tools that you need to protect yourself.
Nice. Oh, thank you so much for this information. Audience, if you had any questions, drop them in. We'll definitely send them to Mr. Lodge so he can answer them for you. But I'm sure everyone's just like sitting in amazement of all these things that you're talking about when it comes to tech and cybersecurity. Like, I think it's quite interesting that like younger people are getting into this. I mean, I think we all saw it happening. I mean, the advancements of social media, of, cyber securities and everything just has been going up and up and up. So it is quite like something that I think a lot of people are going to get into a lot more. And like you saying that camps are now catering to this need as well is such a major shift from even just 10 years ago. When you think about like how we used to experience camps and now how they're being put in place now. So amazing stuff. It's a good curve.
Yeah, I'm with Mia. So our generation was the last ones who actually grew up, in the streets. We didn't have internet. So all of this is kind of new to us, right? We're just trying to roll with the technology as it develops.
Indeed. Well, thank you, sir. Everyone, we know how to reach you and to get more information, to know about the events coming up. If you ever want to reach back out to us at the show and tell us more about what's going on and what's happening in the advances of tech for kids, like, please feel free to reach back out to us.
Amazing, Adrian. Thank you so much for all your information and for everything that you're doing for our kids and everything. And congratulations again on the Olympics. That's big news, man.
Yeah, to be working with them, that's great.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everyone, that was Adrian Lodge. If you like that conversation, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like, and make sure that you're following us on our social media channels. Share the conversation. That's a really big one when it comes for tech and young people in Bermuda to get involved with and to know what's going on, especially with the upcoming event and the Global Entrepreneurship Week. We're going to throw it over to one more commercial break. Then we're going to come back to you guys for the Daily Play. So stick with us as we continue the show.